In Merseyside, 1 in 7 adults claim out-of-work benefits, over 50% higher than the national average. But what's life really like for the people who live here and are forced to rely on the state?
A lot of the time it's tighten your belt and get on with it, like.
I don't actually know what I'm going to do now. I really don't know what I'm going to do.
Hey, love, you're in the middle of the road.
Tonight, meet the couple who are hoping to be rehoused after being unable to shower for 3 years.
I'd feel more independent because I'm able to wash myself of my own accord.
The single mum, who is struggling to raise her 3 young sons by herself.
If my children need something and I haven't got any money, one of these go.
And the gambler, who says he can't work because of his religious views.
Never, ever get a job during the Sabbath. I'll never do it.
They're all out of work and struggling to get by on benefits.
The amount of times I've sat here and cried because I think to myself, I'm not going to get to the end of the month.
It's reported that Merseyside is home to 6 of the top 10 areas with the highest benefits outlay in the country. 57-year-old Jimmy has lived in the area nearly all his life.
Put £2 on it, 5 to 2 and 10 to 11. So we'll get about £14 back, which is like survival money, innit?
After a period of homelessness, he's just moved into a bedsit in New Brighton on the Wirral and is furnishing it with things he's found on the street.
Half the stuff I've got, like the telly, I found it. That coffee machine, found that. And I just found them lamps yesterday. I can play one tune, but that's not in tune, like, so.
Jimmy hasn't worked since being laid off from his job in a cake factory 4 years ago.
I was like, stood up in a factory, 12-hour shifts, like wearing a stupid hairnet. And, you know, as soon as you get out of there, you're spending all the money you've made to get flipping off your kite, like, you know, so that you can, you know, de-stress yourself. I wasn't happy with it. And, you know, I wanted things to change, and then I got the sack. But it was a blessing in disguise, getting the sack.
After being sacked from his factory job, Jimmy says that he was unfit to work due to depression. But recently, he says he was reassessed, passed fit for work, and now has to look for a job again.
The types of work I am most likely to get: cleaner, light stockroom work. What is it any good benefit to them for me to go round with a mop? Do you know what I mean?
But Jimmy doesn't want any old job. He'd like to make a career out of his art.
That one in front, that's me mum. And I painted it like that from a little tiny passport size photo. That one with the tiger, I've never finished. I was going to do like a mad background on it, but like because of the homeless thing, it ended up in somebody's outside shed.
Jimmy has made money from selling some of his paintings before. He's so proud of them that he keeps the pictures on his phone.
So I sold it for £250, that picture. And I've just, like, my life's been turmoil since then, like.
He feels that having to look for a job is stifling his creativity.
It's the time thing, you know, like, and the stress, like, knackers up the creativity, like, you know, where I'm too busy worrying about, like, this bloody £70 a week and trying to jump through all the hoops that they do, like, oh, you have to apply for so many jobs, do this, do that.
For Jimmy, getting out of the house is another way to de-stress.
This is Lee Shore. I get down here about every week. Like, you need to do stuff like this to de-stress yourself, whatever you call it, like, you know. You know, because they don't give me enough money for the Thai massage parlour.
Jimmy may have lived in Merseyside for years, but he spent his childhood growing up in Norfolk.
My mum died when I was a kid of thrombosis from taking a new contraceptive pill. So I was, like, brought up going to visit her grave, really. You know, I was 18 months when she died. But like my gran and granddad sort of made sure we stayed together as a family, you know, me brothers and sister. And proper taught us how to be decent people and that, like.
Despite his current situation, Jimmy hasn't given up hope of getting off benefits.
I think that they should at some point, like, go, hang on a minute, what he's saying is right. His best chance of making a go of it is painting his pictures. You know, it's better than filling forms and painting a picture, isn't it?
Just down the Mersey from New Brighton is Birkenhead, home to 33-year-old Nicola and her 3 sons, 5-year-old CJ, 2-year-old Mason and 6-year-old Dayton.
Who's man of the house?
Me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Dad's not here, so I'm the man of the house.
Nicola claims around £1,500 a month in benefits, including child allowance. She says that she's struggling with the cost of raising her children.
Yesterday, I spent £279. This is the killer. This takes a lot of my money. With the milk at £10 a tub, nappies for 2 little ones. Yesterday, it came to £112 before I'd even done the actual cupboard shop. And I sat there and I was like, my shopping's going to come to nearly 300 quid.
With money tight, Nicola always makes sure to put the kids first.
The amount of times I've sat here and cried because I think to myself, I'm not going to get to the end of the month. If it's something like I would like and the shopping comes to a certain amount, I take off the stuff to make it cheaper so the kids get what they want.
Nicola is originally from the Midlands, but she moved to Merseyside 2 years ago to live with her husband. They separated a year ago, but have joint custody of their children.
We both got 3.5 days each, and it works well for both of us. Still think sometimes it could help a little bit more. He's got people to turn to, I haven't.
Nicola has 2 older children from a previous relationship when she was a teenager. They're now living with her parents back in the Midlands.
Night. I'm coming. My mum and dad, they've struggled, and it makes me feel guilty because they took on my 2 other children, and I've felt guilty for years that they're bringing up my 2 kids. And then I went on to have other children, but I couldn't stop my ex-husband from having children.
Nicola hasn't spoken to the children or her parents for months.
Can I have a cuddle? I'm hoping that my older 2 children, that one day they'll forgive me. I love them with all my heart. I love all 5 of my children. I just wish I'd have been a better mum. I wish I'd have put them first like I am doing now. But I got a second chance at life and I said that I would never blow it.
In Wallasey on the Wirral, 54-year-old Joe and his 44-year-old partner Angela have been together for the last 15 years and have been on benefits for most of them.
In love, you're in the middle of the road.
Joe's been married twice and he met Angela in the local pub and their relationship quickly developed.
Then a couple of weeks later, I started to know Joe's kids. I said to him, how many kids, Joe? And he goes, oh, I've got 10. And I went, 10 kids? What have I put myself to?
You got a brew?
No, it's not the water.
Most of Joe's 10 kids are also on benefits, so there are always lots of people coming and going in their 1-bedroom housing association flat.
I've got 6 boys to my first wife, 3 children to my second wife, and when I was 17 I had a daughter which I've never ever seen. It's a daily occurrence where people just come and we just socialise.
Former security guard Joe hasn't worked in over 15 years after a problem with his leg turned out to be a tumour on his spine.
I was walking out to work one day and my leg was dragging along the pavement, and Angela said to me that she didn't seem to think that was right.
Even though the malignant tumour was removed, Joe now suffers from a long list of health problems.
I've got 2 full hip replacements. I was recently diagnosed with sleep apnea. I've got bad COPD. And I've had a tumour removed off my spine 9 years ago, and I had a recurrence of it about 1.5 years ago, 2 years. And nothing's been right since then.
Joe says his health problems means he's unable to work, so he and Angela claim around £1,400 a month in benefits.
DLA, Angela gets carer's allowance for me, but it doesn't go very far with your gas, your electric, your water, TV licence.
But while Angela has been claiming sickness benefits due to her learning difficulties, they say recently the benefits office stopped their payments after deciding that she is fit to work.
And it's £1.08 in that one. £1.36 on that one, so we've got no chance on that one.
With their bank accounts empty, Angela has to break the news to Joe.
No money in my account.
None in any of them.
None of them at all.
That's the benefits for you, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fortunately, Joe's sister Kaz is around to help with money for the essentials.
Sister said yes, she'd lend me £5 to get some cigarettes. Otherwise, I'd have probably got to have done out without until tomorrow.
Coming up, Joe's health problems mean he can't stay awake.
It just worries me. He's family worry about him as well.
Jimmy turns to God to keep his vices in check.
It's keeping of the Sabbath shows up where you fall down on the other, like paving on other people's women.
And Nicola's regretting being reckless with money.
I asked my mum for my savings account card and I just blew £5 on nothing.
In Wallasey on the Wirral, Joe and Angela have been relying on state help for the past 15 years. Joe has a long list of serious health complaints, and they're affecting his and Angela's relationship.
I sleep in here because Joe can't sleep in here because it's full of damp. Me and Joe haven't slept together for 3 years.
His lack of mobility means that he can't use a bath or shower, so every day the local authority provide him with a carer to give him a hand wash.
That's the hottest water I've ever had.
Oh, mate, can't wait to the shower.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, yeah, great, because it's really, really hot for the change.
There's no shower in their one-bedroom housing association flat, so Joe and Angela are on the waiting list for a specially adapted property. But the wait might soon be over.
Been striving for the last couple of years because of me disability to try and get another place, and we are now in the process of hopefully moving. I think this new place will bring out a lot and take a lot of the stress, a lot of the pressure off both of us. I'd feel more independent because I'm able to wash myself of my own accord when and whenever I want.
Because it's difficult for Joe to leave the house, if he wants to see his family, they have to come to him.
All right.
Hi, kiddo. How you doing? Hi, Ange.
Hi, John.
Love of my life.
Today, Joe's 74-year-old dad, John, is visiting.
Hello, son. Okay, mate.
Yeah, sound.
On top of all his other medical problems, Joe suffers from sleep apnea, a disorder that causes sufferers to stop breathing while they're sleeping.
Got a headache, Joe?
No, I'm just resting my fingers, love.
Is that just for you?
No, for us.
Joe is prone to dropping off mid-conversation.
3rd of February, your appointment to support allowance will be £109.95 a week. When I fall asleep unexpectedly, I just don't know what's happening. I could be in mid-conversation with someone, watching the telly, And all of a sudden, I just fall asleep. I don't know I have done. It's only when Angela either shouts, "Joe, you're falling asleep, Joe, you're falling asleep," or somebody else does to me. I've fell asleep before, and there's been half a dozen people in the house, and I haven't even known they've been there because I haven't woken up until 2 hours later. But yeah, I'm feeling a little bit groggy a bit. She said this could also be to do with me diabetes. I haven't had anything to eat yet this morning. I've had about 6 cups of tea. You need to get something into it, because she said, when I went to the clinic.
With all Joe's health problems, Angela is terrified what the future might hold.
I'm frightened in case I lose him. Because he's had, as you know, he's had, stop it. He's had 2 tumours and he's had 2 hip replacements. Sorry. It just worries me. He's family worry about him as well. And his friends, don't they, Joe?
Down the road in New Brighton,
From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants.
57-year-old Jimmy has been unemployed for 4 years, since being sacked from his factory job.
He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. See what I mean? He'll be happy to see it. I used to be a Christian, but I've realised now that's the wrong thing. They've got it wrong.
Jimmy has always been a believer in God, and 4 years ago, he started following the teachings of a little-known religion called the Way.
I'd say I was a follower of the Way. Because if you read the book of Acts, they were called followers of the Way when Saul was persecuting them. Then this Saul has gone, if you can't beat him, join him, sort of attitude, but made up his own religion. Then departed Barnabas to Tarsus.
Jimmy's religious beliefs means he can't work on Fridays and Saturdays. But putting this on a job search form means that it's getting harder for him to find a job.
I wish to restrict my availability due to religious reasons, as I do not wish to work on the Sabbath, which is Friday and Saturday. Friday is your preparation for the Sabbath, where you get everything you need, so you don't have to go out shopping, you don't have to make anyone else work, because it says you even give your animals a rest. So I wasn't betting on the horses on the Sabbath.
Today, he's off to see his brother Richard, who is also a follower of the Way. Richard has been out of work and on benefits for the last 5 years.
I don't consider myself Christian. Both of us are of the same mind. We were saying to each other, weren't we, that we both can't be going mad at the same time,
The brothers say they had a difficult upbringing.
Well, I've always believed in God, right from when I was little. We were brought up by my granddad. And, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't still have each other.
They now follow the Way for guidance.
Keeping the 10 Commandments, including keeping the Sabbath, helps you to find out and discover where your faults are. If you don't do it, you can't find them out.
It's keeping of the Sabbath shows up where you fall down on the other, like paving on other people's women, which is a hard one to stop it.
Despite their religious convictions, the brothers do allow themselves the occasional vice, if their benefits will stretch to it.
I can't afford to buy weed all the time, it's obviously
It's not enough, is it?
He wins on the horses a lot, and that gives us
more
a bit of leeway to celebrate,
But a lot of the time it's tighten your belt and get on with it,
While Jimmy and Richard are struggling to find employment because of their religious beliefs. In Birkenhead, 33-year-old Nicola hasn't worked for 6 years while she raises her 3 young sons.
As a kid, I worked at a cake factory and I piped chocolate on profiteroles. And for a 17-year-old to get 250 quid a week was a lot of money back then. And I was putting 50 quid away each week. And I think I saved about 5 grand. When we conceived him, I asked my mum for my savings account card and I just blew 5 grand on nothing. I think back now and I think to myself, what you could have done with that 5 grand, you could have set yourself up for life.
Even though her youngest son is only 6 months old, Nicola is already thinking about the future and getting back to work.
I always said that I wanted to be a receptionist in a hotel. I'm now panicking for when the kids start full-time school, that I'm going to struggle to find a job. But I do want to work. I don't want to be on the dole and I don't want to be on benefits for the rest of my life.
In the meantime, rather than putting money away in the bank, Nicola's found an alternative way of saving.
I wear a lot of jewellery. My jewellery is to support my children. If my children need something and I haven't got any money, one of these go.
With money tight living on benefits, Nicola has become an expert on using the internet to bag a bargain.
These were £1.89 off eBay, brand new. And then these ones were brand new with the tags on, and I got them for £2.99. I bought these off a friend on Facebook. They were brand new. They're for the summer, so I've not actually had them on yet. I bought myself a new coat. The simple fact is, my black one, I've lived and died in it. I feel a little bit like Little Red Riding Hood right now.
For Nicola, the search for bargains can become addictive, and the house is starting to fill up.
I'm always having a look on eBay while I've got 5 minutes. If it's like 99p and there's no bids on it, I'll stick a bid on. I put loads of stuff on a watch list and then it notifies me that this item is ending soon, and if there's no bids on it, then I stick a bid on. 9 times out of 10, I win it. I do sometimes get a little bit carried away.
Nicola is not so sure about her latest bargain purchases.
I actually don't know whether I like them or not because they look dirty. What do you reckon to these, Mace? Look. Mace, look at these. Wow, look at them. Ooh. Hey, how posh does Mum look?
In Wallasey,
Where's your blanket?
I don't know.
Joe rarely leaves the house due to his ongoing health problems. But today, niece Paisley and son Johnny are taking him to their local park.
We've got a little separated area there where we scattered my mum's and my brother's ashes when they passed away recently. And we go up a couple of times a year, normally on their anniversaries or their birthdays. We go and pay our respects, sit in the park for about 10 minutes and say a couple of little prayers.
The park has become a special place for Joe and his family.
This is where our Paisley's father's ashes are spread, my brother. We've spread them here. And my mum's around all the trees, all the apple trees and that. There's a plaque on the wall for my brother. And we always like these little tea lights if we can when we come up.
Joe's mum and brother both died of cancer. His mum passed away a year ago, and Joe's brother died when he was just 40.
It's always an emotional time every time we come up here. I always think about my mum and my brother every time we come up. When you lose your brother who's like 10 years younger than you don't expect it. My mum was never ever ill. Mum being as mums are the best person in the family, she was never ill, and all of a sudden she just got cancer and passed away. It makes me worry about my own health all the time. That's why I want to try and stop this smoking and drinking. Because I want to see my grandkids go up like all parents do. You want to see your kids and your grandkids go up.
Losing his family has made Joe consider his own harmful habits.
If I don't change this lifestyle, I'll die, the doctor said. Which I know. I've already been told that my liver functions are terribly high. They shouldn't be anywhere near that. Shouldn't smoke anywhere near 20 a day. That's what I've been doing for 35 years. Unless I can get some situation where I can stop that. I'll just keep carrying on and carrying on.
Coming up, Joe's getting supplies in before the Sabbath.
Get what we can, beers, weed, food in.
After years on the waiting list, a move is finally on the cards for Joe and Angela.
So we're now buzzing our tits off because we've got the keys to move in with.
And single mum Nicola is at her wit's end.
I just want to think my life gets easier and then it gets bloody harder.
Liverpool, home to the Beatles, the Cavern Club and the iconic Royal Liver building. Across the Mersey in New Brighton, it's Friday and Jimmy is preparing for the Sabbath.
I only got paid on Thursday and I've got 40 quid left. So I'm just going to take a tenner for the Sabbath.
Jimmy is a devotee of a religion called the Way, but this means he can't work a full week.
If I was supposed to get a job, I'd have to be off on Friday and Saturday. That'd be my weekend, you see, because I've got to prepare for the Sabbath and then do the Sabbath. And I put it down on my job seekers agreement. In their world, it's rendered myself unemployable, but not to me. You know, I can paint me pictures. You know what I'm saying?
The Sabbath officially starts at sundown on Friday, but Jimmy says he can't work during the day as he needs to get supplies in.
Get what we can, beers, weed, food in. Everything so we don't have to go out again. You're not allowed out on a Sabbath. You know, you can go for a 2-mile walk, I think.
And there are other strict rules that Jimmy has to stick to.
Can't have sex on a Sabbath. But you can have sex on a Saturday night. I've had my landlord come round on the Sabbath asking for me rent, and I just said to him I don't do business on the Sabbath.
Jimmy's brother Richard shares his religious beliefs.
I've done all my shopping, don't need to get anything, everything's all sorted. All we need to do is just
Relax.
And
chill out.
for the Sabbath,
As the sun sets over the Mersey, the Sabbath begins.
Exodus 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
He shall put on the holy linen coat, and they led Jesus away with the high priest.
As the night wears on, Jimmy and Richard make sure to obey the rules.
Why you don't shop and stuff is because you're not making anyone work. Like if I bet on a horse before the Sabbath to run on the Sabbath, I reckon that bet would go tits up. You know, because you've got to let your animals rest as well as your manservants and your maidservants.
It did say the animals as well, your cattle.
I always let my servants rest on the Sabbath.
Back in Wallasey, Joe and Angela have received some good news. After a 3-year wait, the Housing Association have finally found them a specially adapted bungalow.
Got the keys are now there to pick up. We've got confirmation we can pick them up. Come over and sign the agreements. The tenancy date starts next Monday, a week today. So we're now buzzing our tits off because we've got the keys to move in with.
Joe's excited about the prospect of having his first shower at home in years.
It's going to change a lot for us, isn't it?
A bit more of my own independence because I'll be able to get a shower. I don't know what would be a novelty. I'll be getting a shower every day for about a month.
Joe and Angela take a taxi to the housing office to collect the keys to the bungalow.
Got the keys.
Over the moon we are.
I'm excited anyway.
Can't wait to get in there.
Ringing everybody up and saying about it, aren't we?
We're going to go down and view the property and check what needs doing. So looking forward to it. Watching other people do work while I'm just supervising it.
Keys in hand, they take sons Johnny and Sean to check out their new home.
I hope it's not like this weather on Monday. Moving in and it's raining.
Getting to see their new housing association bungalow with the all-important walk-in shower is a big moment for the whole family.
This is our new property, no? Yeah, remember the green that was there?
Oh, yeah. Bird shit on the window already, cheeky bastards.
This one, eh? Going to be the lovely kitchen. Picture myself doing all the cooking, doing all the cleaning. Absolutely amazing. I can make it my own. Get nice furniture for the house and nice furniture for the bedroom. That'd be nice.
We've been waiting on the list, the housing list, for about 3 years to get a move because there was nowhere appropriate for us that had a walk-in shower or a wet room. That was all we wanted, was just somewhere with a wet room as opposed to a bath. Oh, fantastic. Well, it's really fantastic.
Do you want me to give you the shower now and go to the shower?
I'm looking forward to it so much. So much. I don't think I've ever been so happy. And as the song goes, things can only get better, can't they? Things can only get better. Give us a big kiss then.
Back in Birkenhead,
No, mate, I haven't got time to mess about.
single mum Nicola is struggling to get by on her £1,500 a month benefits and tries to save money by hunting for bargains. She has recently bought a second-hand tumble dryer,
Oh dear.
but after just a month, it's already stopped working.
Oh, you've got to be joking me. You slamming it is not going to help. The tumble dryer is tripping the electric. I don't understand why, but I bought it second-hand. Oh, I didn't need this today. I just want to think my life gets easier and then it gets bloody harder. I don't actually know what I'm going to do now. I really don't know what I'm going to do.
This time, Nicola's bargain hunting has backfired.
You know, I paid 80 quid for that. I paid £80 for a tumble dryer that's now tripping me electric. Yeah, cheers, dude. Please answer the phone. Please answer the phone.
Nicola decides to call the person she bought the dryer from.
Hello? It's Nick who bought the black tumble dryer off him. Can you hear me? Oh, this really helps. I've had enough. This is my lifeline. This tumble dryer is my lifeline. I can't keep up with clothes. The weather's crap. I can't dry clothes. I've got 3 boys to keep in clothes. I ain't bothered about myself. I walk around looking like a tramp. I don't care. The hell do I do now? Oh dear. It's definitely tripped the electric because that one's not on.
As a last resort, Nicola calls a friend for help.
Hello, I am sorry for ringing you while you're at work, but I have a problem and you might be able to help me. My tumble dryer keeps tripping me electric. Good point, Batman. See, this is why we're friends. I like you. It's my tumble dryer. I don't need this today. Should we straighten her hair while we're here?
Although the electric socket appears to be working, Nicola's going to have to manage without the tumble dryer for the time being.
I just feel really sick now, knowing that it's broke or it's not working properly. Come on, babe. I know, darling, I know.
Back in New Brighton, with the Sabbath over, Jimmy is able to get out and about and on with his daily life.
I can do this. I can go and bet on the horses again. I can go and do whatever. I'm doing, I haven't made any body or any animal work during the Sabbath. But now I can make them work again.
Jimmy dreams of making a living as an artist, working days that suit him, and he thinks he might have found somewhere to do his art.
I was talking to this lady about a studio, 20 quid a week. She said she doesn't do it for profit, she's doing it because she likes to help artists.
However, at the moment, Jimmy's religious beliefs means he could be facing a life on benefits.
Never, ever get a job during the Sabbath. I'll never do it ever again in my life. And that's like 4 years I've been doing that. It's never gonna change, and that is my belief. And they have to accept that by law.
Coming up, Joe and Angela are moving, and the family lend a hand.
And the amount of time that it took to get a van and move it all, I'd already moved the couch by myself.
Jimmy fights the benefits office over cash.
It's only 300 quid, but like, it's my money, you know, so I'll probably get a little bit off my head, like.
And Nicola's doing her best to be a mum, second time round.
Didn't do a very good job when I was 18, and I had my other two. Promised myself that I'd make sure that I did a bloody good job this time.
Back in Wallasey, after being on the waiting list for a new home for the last 3 years, Angela and Joe are finally moving out of their flat and into a specially adapted housing association bungalow.
I will miss this place, but with Joe can't get in and out the bath. We've got a walk-in shower now, and that's what I'm going to do a bit later on, and everything's sorted. Getting a nice shower and getting my new pyjamas.
See you soon, darling. Love ya.
Joe's son Sean is helping them move their belongings the 500 metres up the street to their new home. To save cash, he's using his push bike.
I do try my hardest, like, I don't mess about in life. Something needs doing, I got on with it, that's it. Whereas other people would rather hire a van, pay like £40, £50 out to move a couple of bits, when I can just throw it on my arm or my back and carry it. And the amount of time that it took to get a van and move it all, I'd already moved the couch by myself, you know, too, and saved some money. Not for me, for my parents.
With their family going all out to help, Angela wants to show she appreciates their efforts.
Sean's big and strong. How he does it, no idea. But he's been a help, and the two girls have. So I'm going to get a couple of thank you cards and 2 bunches of flowers for the girls. And just get Sean ciggies.
We've had all family and friends giving us a hand, move all stuff around. It is smaller than the last place, but there's only me and Angela there, so it's big enough for us.
With the hard work out of the way, Angela and Joe can start to make their new house a home.
It's going to be wonderful. And I'm quite happy.
Yeah, I'm more than happy with ecstatic, yeah. Better thing could have happened would be to win in the pools. Other than that, yeah. I couldn't imagine us moving from here. We'll be staying here for, well, as long as I can imagine.
And there's just one final thing to do. Raise a toast to their new home.
And anyway, cheers, everybody.
Happy house.
Happy house, yeah.
A few miles away, Nicola is on her way back from the school pickup.
We're in Birkenhead Park. Thought I'd treat the kids to a run round. Just tires them up. Not like Mason needs anymore, because he's not had a sleep all day, so he's going to be out for the count at about 5:30.
After years on benefits, she looks for free ways to entertain the kids.
I like the fact that their faces light up, because it's something different. 9 times out of 10, when we come out of school, it's straight home. But the weather's been so cold. But I did say to CJ that if he's a good boy at school, Mummy will take to the park one day after school. And he's come out with 2 stickers today for helping. He's a really helpful little boy. I think sometimes I feel like I live with a 15-year-old.
Nicola's determined to give her 3 youngest kids the opportunities her eldest children never had.
You know, I'd sell the shirt off my back if it meant that my children could eat. Didn't do a very good job when I was 18 and I had my other 2. But I promised myself that I'd make sure that I did a bloody good job this time. And I don't think I'm doing a bad job, to be fair. They're happy, they're clean, they're clothed, they're loved, and they are well fed. Thank you very kindly.
In New Brighton,
Got the Jamie Oliver bones of your arse, Stu.
Jimmy hasn't worked for 4 years, and he's in debt to the benefits office for crisis loans he's taken out. He says his benefits have been reduced whilst he pays them back.
They just automatically been taking it out of me money. I've got no control over it, like. Plus now I've got to spend money on flipping, getting to sign on every week, which is another flipping £8. You know, so there's not much left at the end of all that, £8.10.
For Jimmy, the debts are mounting, and he's struggling with the repayments.
We have decided that you should now start paying back the £40.53 you owe us. That one's £76 that you owe us. That one's £48.23 that you owe us. That one's £1.91 that you owe us. £60 that you owe us. No, I can't remember borrowing anything. I phoned the phone, like that they said, if you've got any queries about it, phone this number. And I phoned the number and I said, can you send me out some kind of breakdown of what these debts are? And they said, certainly you can do that. They sent me an empty envelope.
Jimmy says that because he hasn't had the clarification he wants, he's given the benefits office an ultimatum.
Dear sir, I am writing in regard of a series of debts, reference numbers, blah, 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 blah. I am formally requesting details and proof of these debts. If I do not receive this information within 14 days of this letter, I will be compelled to take this matter to the independent case examiner. Yours sincerely, blah, blah, blah.
Jimmy thinks he's out of pocket, and he has a plan if he gets any money back.
It's only £300, but, like, it's my money, you know, so I'll probably get a little bit off my head, like, and then use some of it to try and advance myself even further. It's hard. I risk a few quid when I get paid on for gambling. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I'm, like, quite well off. Wouldn't advise other people to do that. Like, I've studied the horses for years, like, you know, even I flipping lose sometimes.
But his debts haven't put Jimmy off having a flutter.
Just go in the bookies, take a bet on, and get on with the rest of the day and then check it later if it's won or not. Best odds guaranteed. Go back, get something to eat, and then go up to the, write this nasty letter to the dole.
All Jimmy can do now is to wait and see if his horse comes in.